Welcome traders to the PropShield Trade channel. In today's video, we are going to be highlighting our first version of our trade copier. So this is just fit to screen since we have a border on our videos. So we're going to go full screen on it. So some of the stuff you're going to see up top because we're going full screen with the borders will get cut off for you guys. All right, so here's our list of follower accounts that are selected. It puts it down here each time you select one. And then we choose either micros or native, which is just the same. So if you're doing NQ, it'll stay as NQ rather than MNQ. And then there's different ways of copying it. You can mirror the exact position size, or you'd use fixed or multiple. Then we get down here, our brackets that we're going to carry our stop and our target. You can do none if you want. Absolute is exactly what on our signal panel, the trade copier will do an entry, hint, and target. The absolute will correspond with that. Relative will correspond with the actual fill price. So let's just say if you're setting 40 tick stop, 40 ticks take profit, you select relative, it'll be exactly that. It will be a little off if you use absolute. And then you can choose to copy both or not. We have a flat button for each of the accounts. You have a status indicator. And you would scroll down to see all your accounts. And this is where you'll see some other ones. Different trade sizes. So fixed, 4. So anytime like I would want to increase position size, most likely I would just choose fixed personally over multiple. It does a similar function on it. So like let's just say instead of doing decimals for some of the other trade copiers, if you're doing 10 contracts and you only want to copy half that, instead of doing 0.50, I mean, you're just going to go in here and just select fixed 5. So that's what it'll do. Uh, Now multiple, again, if you just, you're like, oh, okay, I could really do instead of fixed, since my leader is doing 1, I could do the same thing. I could just select multiple, put 4 over here instead of here, and it'll accomplish the same thing. And then so we have all instruments or just the current, we're locking down the current one that we're using. And then same thing with leader, you would type in again, what it is. So NQ. And then live mode, we have 2 different ones. This starts as unchecked. And so that way the log and stuff. So if you're testing it out and the log will show you what it would be executing, but it won't really copy the orders. So this one, turn it on to really do live mode. Start, stop copier, flatten all, remove selected is for these accounts. So that's what I did is when you first hook it up, had all of those accounts right there. They have populated, and then I just removed all the ones that I knew I wasn't going to use just to keep it clean. When you have the copier open, make sure, like it's designed to where we stop it before we actually close it. Otherwise, you are going to have to close down NinjaTrader and restart NinjaTrader, how it currently works. So we have it to where the leader can't be in multiple copier windows and same followers. So at the same time, you can open up multiple, instead of tabs at the bottom, you would open up new copier windows. And so you can have different leaders, different followers, or if you want the same ones, you can't have it active. So if you have just kind of different charts you're trading on different times of the day, you'd set up one for your first session, Okay, that's all set up. You'd hit stop, minimize it, or close it out, and then you can start the other copier with whatever follower you want, or leader and followers. So that way your system stays clean. And it's designed to where you can't save it in any specific workspace. So if you close any workspaces, the copier is still just running in the background um, until you actually hit the X button, actually close it out. So this won't let you accidentally save it in a workspace. And then you're wondering why, when you're trading something else and you forgot to hit stop copier, why is it executing these trades? Won't let you do that. And so what we prioritized um, with this is getting orders correct, correct in the direction and in the size. So that is our priority. That's what I've seen in other copiers where they, don't copy the exact order, or your leader or like your followers. Some of them hit their target or stop. Your leader and your other followers, some of them are still open. And then when your leader gets hit, all of a sudden, one of your followers that was flat reverses position. This doesn't allow you to do that. So we have set it up um, to where your position right now, everything's flat. It would say something like buy to open, BTO, buy to open, STO, sell to open, kind of like terminology from options. So that way, okay, it knows the direction and the intent on it. And so if your follower closes, especially if you're trading micros and they can move a little wider than the mini contracts, it will, that closes out. And then when this goes to close out, the leader goes to close out, it's already flat. So in the log, it'll let you know that there's nothing to do. It skipped that additional order because you are currently flat. And then it'll say what contracts you have. NQ, MNQ, uh, and then, like the current contract is 06-26. Let's see if there's anything else on it that we wanted to go over. Also, and I'll demonstrate in another video, for adding positions, correctly adding them with the brackets, scaling out of positions. So if you stack them 4, 5, 10, whatever you're doing, and then you're scaling out, you want to scale out one by one, this will follow suit, and even reversing. So our signal panel also has a reverse button. So a reverse button, scale out button. So in the normal native MT8 chart trader, in order to like scale out, you would do the opposite order. If you're long, you'd hit sell market and you choose your quantity and stuff. That's how you do it. We have it set inside of our trade manager to where if you want to do full position, one contract, two contracts, kind of however the increments are, you'd already have it preset in there. And so you can't change it on the fly, with that. You can increase your position right here and stuff on the fly if you want. Um, and so you can scale out with it. It'll do it correctly, close all reverse positions correctly. So that's what we are prioritizing is um, getting orders correct on it. And so we will demonstrate that in another video. Our current version, I think the release is out to everybody, but for having multiple playback accounts. So we can demonstrate that for all the different sizes. But in the um, in the market replay, unless if I download the micro contracts, like we're just gonna stick with NQ. So it'll copy the same contract instead of scaling down on it. And so for the micros, we've mapped everything that's within NinjaTrader of what they list. So like silver, gold, oil, all the stuff in there. You know, Bitcoin, micro Bitcoin, all of that's in there. Um, let's see if there's anything else. So, and then in another video, we'll also be going over our risk manager. So that's in version 1 too. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys on the next video.